wanted to talk with you about today is our fall book programs. We have decided to do them virtually instead of trying to meet at the Colonnade. They're talking about how they're trying to social distance, and they are going to have takeout for their fried chicken, which you might want to run over there and get some fried chicken one day. But you could also, I don't know where all of you live, but if you live close by, it's not, I think it's nice to support restaurants that are trying to hold on. And so we do try to pick up from some of those, but they are opening up for takeout, and that's good. But I think with our age group, it's probably, we talked as a group, the board did, and several of the other members I've talked with, that it's probably better for us to meet virtually this fall. I think we're all disappointed, but I think that it's the safer thing to do. And so we're doing so well on this setup here. And like I say, we've had our little tutorial today. And we can in the future, we can have a little tutorial. And what we're thinking about doing, and we want to run this by you, starting at the same time at 6 o'clock and having about a 30-minute time for women to get signed up. How are you doing? What's happened in your life? The sort of thing we did tonight. And then I will introduce our speaker, and she or he will talk for about 30 minutes, and then we will have Q&A. It's the basic format that we've done before. And that will go from 6 to about 7:30. And what we're doing in September is we're moving our spring programs to the fall. And I know some of our women have already purchased, you know, Atticus Finch and Where the Crawdads Sing, those books. So that's good. We're going to go ahead and do the programs that we had planned in the spring. Now in September, Peggy Thompson, a wonderful professor emerita from Agnes Scott, who taught the winter seminar. I know Marcille was there. I heard her, I was there. Winter seminar is that thing you hear Agnes Scott women mention every now and then, that it's like a continuing education class in January and February, and they get an Agnes Scott professor to come, and it's a wonderful program. And Peggy taught it on Jane Austen, and we really enjoyed it. And now, and it was her, was it Peggy's idea, Marcille, or was it Peggy's idea to do Gulliver's Travels?
Oh, it was Peggy's idea.
And when I first heard Gulliver's Travels, I went, Gulliver's Travels? And I told Marcille, I said, what? But Peggy said it's a political satire. And Marcille, tell us a little bit about her promotion of Gulliver's Travels.
She is very excited to do this, to talk about this. She is really good at communicating her enthusiasm. So, so whatever you think about Gulliver's Travels, sort of just file that away and be prepared to learn something new, because she's going to explain how it's been, the book has been a children's favorite for centuries, and that it's a travel story, and how it was always a parody and really started out as a hoax in the beginning, like it was a true travel tale, because, you know, in the 18th century you didn't go out there, so who knew whether Gulliver had actually gone to Lilliput and got tied up by all these little people. Could have been true. And so, but it was always a satire. So, and it was always a political and social, talking about the political and social systems in England. And he was Anglo-Irish, and so he was a religious person and dean of the cathedral there in Dublin. And so it's just, I think, a really, when she said that, I started thinking about it, and I thought, and she was so excited about it, I thought, well, yeah. And then I talked to Carolyn, and she said, well, we're coming into an election, and we've got all of this stuff going on that's nobody thought would be happening now. That if you had told people, oh, well, you'll all be quarantining, you're going, yeah, that's science fiction. But so I think, I don't know exactly how she's going to approach it. I just know that she's really excited about it. and there's information on the website that's written up about it. There's the one thing about this book is good for everybody is it's a free classic, and so you can get it online and read it for free. I put links on the website, and I put 4 different ones because it's all the same. I mean, it's not all the text is the same, but it's different formatting, so you can click around and find the one that looks.
And which books did she say she was going to do, or so like
yes, Gulliver's Travels had 4 books. The 3rd one is really strange, and Peggy even thinks it's really strange, and it's hard to get into. That's the one, The Flying Island of Laputa. But she's going to take us on a trip to Lilliput, where you've got small-minded little people, and Gulliver's a giant, and then he goes to Brobdingnag, where they're big-hearted giant people, and he's the little man. And then we're going to skip the trip to Laputa, and in the last book, he goes to an island where there's Winhams, which are noble horse creatures, and yahoos, which is a really familiar term now. And those yahoos are the debased humanoid people. So he comes in, he finds himself in between the two, and there's a transformation. And when he gets back to civilization, to the real humans, where the horse ride on the horses, and he's a changed man. And so it's a question of, what does he learn when he goes to all of these places? He tells you all about it in great detail, but is he really seeing things? And so she's told me, she said, every time I go back to Gulliver's Travels and look at it, I find something new. And she sees a lot to relate it to our present situation. So I urge you to go to the website and read about her and read about the book. And like I said, there's also a cartoon on there that Gulliver's Travels has always been such an iconic tale that it was the second full-length animated feature that was ever produced in Hollywood. Disney Snow White, I think, was the first, and then they did this. And these guys were setting themselves up to be competitors to Disney in the movie theaters, and that didn't work out for a number of reasons, but they're the Fleischer brothers. But they had another sailor character that was really popular called Popeye. And
right.
They're the guys that did this. And so I remember this movie, this art cartoon thing was in theaters until into the 60s. And I remember seeing it as a little girl. And some of you may too, but there's a link to that on there from YouTube. You can watch the cartoon if you want to.
That was a great intro. I think Marcel could teach it.
No, you definitely want Peggy to teach it.
No, I know Peggy is really an expert, and we used to always try to do a classic once a year. So this is a return. Not that we haven't done a classic each year, but this is definitely a classic, and this is a return to that idea. And the fact that we can get a wonderful Agnes Scott professor to do it, I think it will be very educational and very entertaining, and I really look forward to it. And we hope all of you can be with us and tell your friends. And then in October, Joseph Crispino is going to come and do Atticus Finch. And how many of you, raise your hand, I can see you, have heard Joseph before? Marcel? Oh, good. Gloria? Okay. You've got a treat in store for you. He is the Jimmy Carter Professor of History at Emory. He has a wonderful, relaxed demeanor, delivery. He is a very good friend of our daughter and her husband, and that's how I first met him. And then we have been at several book festivals together, and Joseph and I even did an appearance together at the Dahlonega Book Festival. And he was in Arizona when my husband Bill spoke in Arizona on the same day. And I've gotten to know him so well, and that's going to be a special treat. And I just wish that would be I wish all these programs could be in person, but I think he will be good on a Zoom program too.
I just watched him on an Emory presentation on Zoom,
Uh-huh.
And we can talk about that later, but it was really, really good. It was one of the best Zoom presentations I've seen.
Great. And I think you said that he did a question and answer kind of presentation. What I'll do is I'll talk to Joe about that. And if we would like to do that, maybe he would do the same thing for us, a little bit different kind of presentation of question and answer. And
I think it would be really easy for him to do because he just did it. And
yes, right. And maybe he even has the questions that he did. I'll ask him. I'll ask him. Oh, you have them. Oh, good. Well, we could just feed them to him again. And then in November, we're going to do Where the Crawdads Sing. And of course, everybody loves that book. And even if you've read it before, I'm going to read it again because it's been a year or so since I've read it. And Pearl McHaney, how many of you heard Pearl McHaney before? She's the Georgia State professor that did Eudora Welty for us. She also did Caroline Miller, Lamb in His Bosom. Oh, she's wonderful, wonderful. And she just retired from Georgia State, and she'd become a dean down there and highly respected. And she'll do a great presentation of that. And as I said, even if you've read it before, read it again, because I really think that'll be wonderful. And you remember that we had on our website this book, Before and After Loss, Lisa Schulman. She's a doctor at the University of Maryland. And this is a book that she wrote about when her husband died. And it's a wonderful book. And she wanted to be in person to present this book. I talked with her, I emailed with her. So we will probably have her next spring. If you've already got the book, of course, you can read it and benefit from it now, but keep it and she will be happy to be with us next spring. The program that we always do in November before the holidays that has been so meaningful to all of us, we're going to bring back our dear friend Ron Greer this year, and he's going to appear November the 14th. I don't know that that's on our website. Is that on the website yet, Sharon? Yes, Sharon says yes. We just put it on the website, and he has entitled his, this is so appropriate, These Holidays Will Be Different. But I heard Ron do a wonderful presentation that he did through our church, and it was very meaningful. And so I've asked him to combine some of those things he said about COVID with the idea of if you've lost somebody, a spouse or a husband or a job or whatever, you're dealing with loss. And he is so good at that. And a lot of you have heard him before, but I could hear Ron over and over and have. So I think that will be very meaningful.